Hey guys, Surfshrink here again. It's been a while. I've been on Christmas break, back to the office. Didn't have time or didn't want to stand out in the cold and do a video outside. So here I am in the office and something has been on my mind as usual. And it is about relationships. And basically, I'm going to title this, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Because I have numerous clients that are in relationships and have a lot of anxiety about whether to break up or whether to stay in their relationships. They have lots of reasons why the relationships aren't working, but the relationships are unpredictable and up and down, and good times and bad times at both ends of the spectrum. And so it can be really confusing, I think. And I have been in that situation before as well, and a few relationships where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I think it's risky, right? If we leave and then we lose something that was once in a lifetime opportunity to be with that person, and that was your person, that's a really scary thought to walk away. I get that. Also, if I stay, is it going to be painful like this forever? Because when it's bad, it's really, really bad. And when it's good, it's great. I think that's a common feeling as well. And then I think the other thing is a lot of us stay in relationships because we're just afraid to feel the pain of loss that we have to go through when it ends, especially if it's your first love. I mean, I think that's a pretty brutal one because you don't have life experience behind you that says this is going to get better. This is going to get easier. It just feels like, oh my God, this pain of loss is going to go on forever. Those of us who've been through breakups and loss, we do know that we get through it and we survive it. It doesn't make it any better. I wouldn't wish a broken heart on my worst enemy. I know it's really, really painful. So I think a lot of it is us wanting to avoid the pain of a breakup, the loss of someone who might be the one. There's a lot of reasons why we stay, even though it's super painful and it doesn't seem to be getting better. First, I would say try couples counseling. It's very, very effective. And I like to think that the benefit and beauty of couples counseling is that whether it works out or doesn't work out, you both are really clear as to what each of your parts are in the conflict and how you each participated, if it is going to end, and you walk away growing and being a better person for the next relationship. If it works, it works. So you have nothing really to lose with couples counseling. So I highly, highly recommend that. But sometimes that's not an option because sometimes our partners are not interested in couples counseling. I've been there too. So I would recommend going to individual counseling because it really helps to sort it out for yourself. Therapists are not on this planet to tell you what to do with your life and give you advice and shoulds about you should leave or you should stay. I don't do that in my practice. And in fact, oftentimes I'll have someone come in and say they have broken up and I support them. But I never know. They might get back together. So I think if you're a friend of someone who's in a relationship like this, I think, be a family member, be cautious when they break up. They don't go off bad-mouthing the person they broke up with because they might get back together and then they'll be afraid to tell you that they're back together, or they'll think you hate them and then they won't want to tell you. So it's sticky, right? It's like really, really tricky. But what I do say to my clients about that is if the idea of breaking up causes you anxiety, then that probably means now is not the time to break up. So put it on a shelf. You don't have to panic. You can just say, all right, so there's some things about this relationship that aren't working for me. Take note. I think if it's more painful than it is good, you'll start to realize that. Start to speak up about what you need in the relationship. I think oftentimes we think speaking up about what we need in a relationship is demanding the other person to change and give it to us. But communication is an 80-20 agreement. 80% is me giving you what I think, want, need, have, experience. And 20% is you responding the way I want you to respond. That 20% is not guaranteed. We just don't always get that. The best we can do is our 80%. And every time we communicate our 80%, we increase our self-worth and our self-esteem, even if we don't get what we want. So I try to go into most communications, I'd say most because I'm not perfect, just expecting my 80%. So, with that being said, try to communicate to your partner what you need and what you want and how you feel. And then you surrender and you let them decide if they can do that for you or they can't. I'm not even going to say if they want to, because some people might want to, but just not be able to at this point in their life. And then, as time goes on, if that's consistent and they're not giving you what you need and want, I think you have to look at that and decide if the good outweighs the bad. If it causes you anxiety, it's not time to make that decision. I reiterate that again and again and again, because I really do believe, from my experience and my experience of observing my clients, that when you're ready to leave a relationship, it feels true. It feels like the right decision, and it doesn't feel like one of anxiety and conflicted feelings. That doesn't mean to say that it's not painful and it doesn't hurt. They're not the same thing. Leaving a relationship is very painful. Even if you want out, even if you want to leave, it can be very painful. However, if you just give yourself the time to experience a relationship, the good and the bad, and communicate what you need, I think you'll get clearer and clearer about what's working and what isn't working, and what you can live with and what you can't. The other thing I tell clients is, if you're just getting out of a relationship and you learned a lot about yourself, maybe write down the things you learned. I think we all have about maybe 5 things that are sort of deal breakers for us. Things that even if we wanted to, we can't live without. I'm someone who requires a lot of security. Like, I have to be with a guy who is secure. He's not unpredictable, and I don't know where he is or when he's going to see me again, or those types of interactions. I'd love to be someone who could be, but that's just not who I am. I've learned that over the years. So for me, it's kind of a deal breaker to be with like a flaky guy, a guy who isn't where he says he's going to be, or doesn't call me when he says he's going to call. It's just something that doesn't work for me. So I have my deal breakers. Like I said, they're not things that even if I wanted to, I just can't change them about myself. They're sort of some core things that have developed from my life experience. And so I think when you do get out of a relationship, it's probably a good idea to sort of look at that relationship and what worked and what didn't, and what your deal breakers are. And I'm not talking about, like, does he like sushi or doesn't he like sushi, or does he surf or not surf, or I'm not talking about the things we do together. I'm talking about, like, relational things. The things that cause you disproportionate reactions and arguments are most likely some of those deal breakers for you. Some of them might change if you go to therapy and work on them, but some things you might just get more and more clear about and integrate those and accept them in your life, and that this is who I am. So it's good to figure that out, and relationships are a great opportunity to do that. So should I stay or should I go? I can't give you that answer, but if you have anxiety about it, don't push it. Set the anxiety on a shelf somewhere, do some meditation, experience this relationship, see how you feel, the pros and the cons, or the good times and the bad times, how are they weighing? And I think you'll come to a clear understanding, especially if you communicate your needs and kind of just surrender and let them do what they can do with that. You might find out that person just can't meet your needs even if they want to, which is really sad and hard. So that's my take on should I stay or should I go. Self-care. Get through a lot of self-care during those times. Got to take care of yourself when you're in a hard relationship. All right, therapy works. Try it. I'll see you again soon. And let's hope the water warms up. It's really cold. And I hope you all are having a good 2019. Happy New Year. Bye.